Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. Today is October 2nd, 2019, which means it's time for another monthly recap. These monthly recaps are obnoxiously long, so I don't know if I want to continue with them. I actually enjoy the recommendations and unrecommendations part. And I'm not sure moving forward how I would incorporate that into another video, but for now I will at least give you September 2019's monthly recap. So I have my handy dandy planner here and we're gonna flip to 9. One of the first things I did this month was a group of middle school girls and not middle school girls, middle school friends, female friends, and I went to San Diego for a day. One of the girls in the group went to San Diego State for graduate school, and she kind of like played our tour guide. We started off the day at Phil's Barbecue. It was my first time. The meat was really, really good. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have mashed potatoes as a side, but they did have potato salad, which I did get. However, it was a little too peppery for my taste, but the meat was really, really good. So after lunch, we headed off to downtown San Diego, or is it Old Town San Diego? And that place just has a Wild West or Old West vibe to it, and it was really cool just to walk around and see the stuff there. And there was a band which was playing good music, so that was really fun. Next we went to Liberty, I believe, Station. We just walked around there, did a few photo shoots, which we got some great pictures for, and got smoothies. And we then quickly rushed to Balboa Park. Balboa Park is huge. We only got to see a small little corner, I would say, because we also wanted to go to Torrey Pines. So we just quickly went to Balboa Park, took a few photos, and then headed off to Torrey Pines. We did the hike, which was really nice, and at the end of the hike we end up at the beach area and got to see the sunset. And I took this really awesome photo of a third wheeling photo and the sunset, and it's one of my favorite photos. I don't know if it's beautiful because of the actual sunset or because of pollution. So San Diego is really fun. The girl and I in that group, Melissa and me, we had an LA day. The last bookstore in LA is on my LA bucket list, and so we decided to get Metro cards and take the Metro to Union Station and head to the last bookstore. And pretty much we made this whole entire trip to revolve around going to the last bookstore. And we see the sign, the last bookstore, and we're walking to the entrance, and there's excitement bubbling, and we get stopped right at the entrance because they were closed for filming. And I think the person who stopped us at the door saw how dejected we were, or at least how dejected I was, because he was explaining oh yeah, we're only closed today for filming, but the bookstore will open back up tomorrow for sure. And I just was thinking in my head, I was well, we obviously came today because we have time to come today. I mean, we would have come tomorrow if we had time tomorrow, but obviously we're here today. And I just remember thinking wow, this was such a disappointment. We literally planned this whole LA day, and the main purpose was to hit up the last bookstore. But it was great. Melissa saved the day because she suggested that we go to this church that's like kind of in the heart of downtown LA, and it's just this really like big church, Catholic church, and I think it's called Cathedral of Our Lady the Angel. I hope I said that right. I think so. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, I totally recommend that you go and check it out. The outside has this like really modern look to it because it's not like a church with like a really really long history, but the inside is just beautiful. And then it's like a small art museum. Like, I don't know, I was just really blown away by how stunning everything was. And then there was like a little like kind of park and play area too. And yeah, like that was actually a great experience. I would have never thought going to a place like that if it wasn't for Melissa's suggestion. And she also suggested that we go to Grand Central Market and get ice cream. And we also went to City Hall because they have a free observation deck. I've had another friend who's seen the observation deck and said that it was kind of like meh, and I have to agree that it's the average observation deck. Like, I've seen better, but I think like just the cool aspect of it is that it's LA. There's a lot of like memorable landmarks, or if you know LA, there's a lot of memorable landmarks, and it's cool to be able to see them from high up. Funny story, when we were Googling Cathedral Lady Angel, these three words, into Google Maps when we were at Union Station to see where the church was, we were actually led to a different church. But this was a good mistake. It was a happy mistake, happy accident, because the wrong church was actually near Overa Street, and so we got to walk around Overa Street as well. And it's just really cool to see something, because I haven't seen it since like ages ago. All of that is really close to the Chinese American Museum, and I have a college friend who works there, so randomly I was like telling my friend Melissa, oh, let's just stop by, and it was closed that day. Like, that's the day that they're closed. But yeah, so things were just not open for us that day. Or, I mean, the Chinese American Museum wasn't their fault. That was like their designated like closed day. But the last bookstore, that came out of nowhere. But no, it still ended up being like a really fun day, and I had a great time. And it's nice to be able to explore LA, because since I'm not that far, I feel like I should know more of it. Because I love Melissa so much and we still weren't sick of each other, we went hiking as well on another day. We went to Runyon Canyon, and that was my first time there. A lot of firsts this month. But yeah, that was my first time there. And there's like an east entrance and a west entrance. And I think we started with the west, got to the east, and also did the east. So we did like the entire hike, and we also like straight off the path to go see the rocks. And that was really, really fun. Like, it's a really, really nice hike. Funny thing about it is that like most people go hiking to see nature, but like in LA it's just all dry, dead grass or weeds or whatnot, and dirt paths. What you do see at Runyon Canyon is a lot of fancy houses and smog. out in the open smog. So it was still a really fun hike. My only complaint was that like there are some areas where, like, when you're going down, it's quite steep. And the thing about it is like most hikers, like, they're really nice, they're really friendly. They walk off to the path if you need more space. And this lady, as I was coming down, like, she was just bulldozing up. Like, she wouldn't stop for anyone. And the thing was that, like, I was like leaning close to like this wall edge and coming down, and I had no more space to back up, while she was going up and had like this kind of patchy area where she could have stepped off and let me safely go down first. But this lady did not care. She just bulldozed up, and because I was in her way, I had to like lean towards like the wall. It's not even a wall, but you know what I mean, right? Like, leaning towards this area so that she had enough space to bulldoze her way up, when she could have really just taken a step aside, let me safely slide down, and then continue her bulldozing. And I found that like really disrespectful, and that was not cool. I couldn't see the lady. I just saw her like really floral yoga pants, and I was just like, wow, that was nice. One good decision that we did make about Runyon Canyon was that we went early, so it wasn't like too hot and the sun wasn't like beating down on us just yet. Or towards the latter half it did. But afterwards we decided that we wanted to brunch, and Melissa's cousin recommended this place called Republique. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, hopefully I am. And it was my first time there, and the food was really good. I liked it. Like, I would totally go back. The parking's expensive, but it's brunch, I guess, in LA. So the pricing is obviously higher, but no, the food was actually really good. Last thing, a few of us high school friends, we went to the grand opening of Wanderlust in Pasadena. Melissa was also in this as well. She was the one who actually introduced me to Wanderlust. We went to the one in Glendale, and honestly, as someone who's not like a big like ice cream person, it's legitly one of the few ice cream places where I'm like, okay, yeah, like, this is good. So I'm really excited that they opened in Pasadena, and we stood in line for it, got to try their new flavors. And I think every time I've been to Wanderlust, like, the customer service there has always been really solid. I just think it's good ice cream, good environment. Highly, highly, highly recommend. And after that, I actually took my sister there the following week, and she really liked it too. So Wanderlust, Melissa, all the things that I did with you, with just you or with other people, has been a fun time, and it really made my September awesome. I also got food and hung out with a few other friends, and I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. Hi Esther, hi Nicole, hi Jenny, ×2. I was going to say that that ends me recounting the things that I did this month, but I also got to try milk for the first time this month, and I just wanted to put that out there. Now we are entering part 2, which is my recommendations and unrecommendations. You know the drill. It's split into 3 parts. The first part is books, graphic novels, manga, things of that sort. Number 2 is Asian dramas and anime, and then number 3 is Western TV and movies. I usually start by giving a song recommendation. There are a few new songs that I can't remember off the top of my head that I want to recommend, but Spotify recently has that liked, repeat, like those playlists, and a song that I was reminded was Woman by Eason Chan. It's a Mandarin Chinese sad love song. It's very romantic, very catchy in the feels. I highly recommend. It was part of a movie soundtrack, so if you are interested, you should give the song a listen. I believe the movie is also on Netflix, but yeah, so it's called Woman by Eason Chan. So now books. Let's see, I guess. First I want to talk about the fact that Wayward Son came out in September. This was one of my most highly anticipated books of the second half of the year, along with Queen of Nothing, and I was so excited to get. I pre-ordered 2 editions. One is obviously the regular US hardback, and then the second one Barnes & Noble special hardback. I also got the UK one, but it's lost in transit. And then I just decided to just let the order cancel and go back and purchase it now, since it doesn't matter if it's a pre-order or not. So yeah, I did read the book in September, and though like I didn't think it was great, I still liked it. It was still a fun time. I enjoyed it, and I was glad to be back in that world and to be back in the reading community that loves this book. Now on to my real recommendation of this month, which is Hey Kiddo. It is a graphic novel memoir by Jared J. I don't know how to say this last name, so I'm just gonna spell it Krosoczka. What is it about? It's about, this author actually has a TED Talk as well, but it's pretty much about his upbringing with a mom who had a drug addiction problem, and being brought up by his grandparents, and the emotions that he went through and the experiences that he went through. And it was a very heartfelt, emotional read with a really strong theme of family and love. I highly recommend. It got me tearing up at some parts too, but also I'm a very emotional person. I think it was like really well done. Now onto my unrecommendation, and I actually listened to this book in audio format, and it's Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. I forgot which publishing company started this or did this, but they got popular YA authors to write YA novelizations of popular DC characters. So I read the first one, which was Wonder Woman by Leigh Bardugo, and I thought that was really good. I didn't expect it to be as good as I came out thinking it was. So I was excited, and that's why this month I decided to pick up Batman Nightwalker. And I think what this book failed me in was false advertisement. This book had nothing to do with Batman. I don't even want to say pretty much. Batman never shows up in this book, and Bruce Wayne feels too much like a typical YA male lead. Like, there's really nothing special about him, and then there's also really nothing Bruce Wayne about him. Like, I feel like Bruce Wayne has like a bit of darkness to him, but this Bruce Wayne was just so pure and innocent, and I don't know, like everything was just off. I didn't feel like the villains were that strong or had really any motives to do what the things that they were doing. In the end of the day, like, the book fell flat because the villains weren't great, and that the story was sold on the premise that it wasn't. This is not a Batman story, and this is not how I envision Bruce Wayne to be, even as like a YA character. So yeah, like hashtag not my Batman. Now on to part 2. This month I rewatched an anime, Ouran Host Club, and honestly, Ouran Host Club, I heard about it like when it first came out and at the height of its like popularity, but I didn't watch it because I was like really scared it'd be like too shoujo for me, and it wasn't until college where one of my roommates is like a big Ouran Host Club fan. I was like, no, you need to watch this. And so I sat down with her and we watched it together, and I ended up loving it. High schoolers just living their life, trying to do their best, getting into hijinks. I don't know, there's just so much story. There's so much backstory for each character. They all feel so real. The characterization in it is very strong, and I highly recommend if you need like an older anime recommendation. I finished 2 Chinese reality shows this month. 心动的信号 season 2 and 创造营 2019. So Heart Signal 2 and Produce Camp 2019. They were okay. For the heart signal, I saw on Instagram that Rainy was one of the panelists, and from there I discovered that Victoria of FX is also one of the panelists. I was like, ooh, this sounds interesting, and I decided to give it a try. It's pretty much like Terrace House, exactly like Terrace House. So if you want to watch like Terrace House in a Chinese version, but kind of not as good, then give it a try. I thought it was okay, decent. And obviously, I watched Produce Camp 2019. I thought it was good. It got me really emotional, like these kids chasing after their dreams and whatnot. But they screwed one trainee over. Supposedly he left the show. I don't believe that, and because of that, it like left a sour taste in my mouth. Especially since the whole premise is based off fans and viewer votes of who gets to be in the group. That if the show removes someone that was ranking high, I don't know. It's like obviously behind the scene things happen. Corruption happens with these shows. You never know how like accurately these fan votes are counted. But to do something so blatant, like it's a big turn off. So now on to part 3, Western TVs and movies. TV was so good to me this month. So obviously, Master Chef wrapped up season 10. American Ninja Warrior wrapped up season 11. And Elementary had its like final season, and oh my god, just so many emotions and feels for that show since I've like watched it in its entirety. And you know what, I might do a series wrap up for Elementary, maybe, we'll see. But what really stole the show this month for me was Dairy Girls. I watched it on Netflix, and it's about a group of Irish teenage girls living in the 90s during the time of like political conflict, and I absolutely love it. I think the humor is very on point. These teenage girls feel like teenage girls, and I just love how well balanced the political conflict and just like family teenage daily hijinks, like it's tied in with like the heavy stuff and the humor stuff together like really really well. I highly recommend. I watched season 1 and season 2. I binged them both, and then I am now starting like to rewatch them. I watched like clips of them on YouTube. Like I just can't get enough of the show. I would be super duper ecstatic if like season 3 were to like come out tomorrow. Like it's a fantastic show, super duper entertaining. I also watched Good Omens this month, and that show was also like, it's so like just 3 words, like witty, talent, and just hilarious. Like Good Omens was so good as well, and I don't even know how to really like describe it. Like an angel and a demon get together to try to stop Armageddon from happening, is the brief synopsis I can give you. But yeah, Michael Sheen and David Tennant just have this amazing chemistry, and they bounce off of each other so well. The entire cast has great chemistry. I thought the plot was really well like written, and the story was really well told, and some demons like really really scared me. So good job Dairy Girls, good job Good Omens. Y'all were great. Y'all made this month great. But not talking about TV shows and talking about movies. Movies were bad this month, so bad. I guess I had like a triple threat, like a trifecta of like really bad movies in 3 different categories. In fact, yeah. I guess it can like form a triangle of like Barefoot, Fallen, and Layover. So Barefoot is about Okay, so I watched Barefoot because of Rachel Evan Wood, and it's about this rich guy who's down on his luck, who works at, I guess, a mental hospital, and somehow one of the mental new patients follows him, and they end up going to his brother's wedding together. And it's a love story, and it's the main character is such a caricature of a character. I just didn't really like it. And then the next movie, what was it, Fallen. Some people were comparing it to Twilight, and I thought, oh, it's conveniently on Hulu, like Barefoot. Well, let's give it a try. And it was not fun. I wasn't entertained. I was actually really bored and was just like, when is this gonna be over? And I actually stopped watching it. And then I was like, oh, it's a short movie. I'll play it in the background while doing other things. But yeah, I just found it really boring. Like, it didn't capture my attention at all. And finally, Layover. I am a fan of Kate Upton's, and that's why I decided to watch this movie. It's about two friends who fall for the same guy that they meet on the airplane, and during the layover they fight over him. There is a lot of unnecessary girl hate in this movie, and it was not fun. It felt like men writing unrealistic female characters. I feel like that's it. I don't really have anything else to say, I think, right? I think so. So outro, like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye!